The topic that we are going to see today is on the use cases. Before going into the use cases, let us understand what exactly is the functionality of the use cases. When it comes to any kind of system, either it may be a real-time system or any kind of application-oriented system, the use cases are the ones which we are actually going to work upon in terms of accomplishing the task. So when it comes to the use cases, it is pretty much important that we need to go for identifying the functionalities what a project is capable of performing, and very important, we need to the each and every software developers must able to generate a diagram which will ensure that the model is going to help the entire team to understand what exactly the use case functionality is all about. So in a nutshell, the use case is going to be based upon the functionality requirements of a given system, and it is mainly into creating a kind of generic framework of the entire system, what has to be, where it has to be started and where it has to end. So when the use cases, when somebody is asking like exactly where does it falls, is it neither falls under the structural diagram nor the behavioral diagram. Since we are going to discuss the use case, we are going to see the use cases as fulfilling both the set of aspects, both the set of modeling. So when we look out at the use case, we got almost 6 different components, like the name, which is nothing but the name of the use case, or in simple terms, the functionality, what the project is going to possess. We are going to tell what it is, what the functionality is, and we are going to tell about the participating actor, the people who are actually involved in the process of giving the input or generating the output are going to get benefited directly because of the use cases. So they are called as the participating actors. It might be a human, or it can be any other entities also. And we are going to have something called as a flow of events from where to where the events are going to flow. So one best thing in the use cases, if you look out into, while we are going for creating these use cases, we can put them into a sequential order of execution of events. So say, for example, the login form comes first, then the basic functionalities comes next, then comes the transaction part of the system where the user has to give the inputs related to the transaction to process, and then the processing uh, uh, part of the particular project, and then finally the report generation part. So this way we can go for hierarchializing the kind of use cases what our project is really concerned into. So that can be represented in terms of flow of events. Then we got to see something called as an entry condition and the exit condition, if at all it exists for each and every of the use cases. What should be the criteria that has to be satisfied for entering into the use case diagram, and the criteria that has to be satisfied for exiting the use case diagram are that particular functionalities, and then finally the quality requirement. So we are going to see certain examples based upon the use cases. Our process of learning is going to be completely based upon these examples. So the name of the use case, as you can see here, is the withdraw. So it's pretty much evident that it is concerned with a banking sector, wherein the customer goes for withdrawing his cash from an ATM machine. So the name of the use case. So a customer goes to the ATM machine and is going for withdrawing amount or cash from the ATM machine. The actual verb or an action involved is nothing but withdraw. So that is what we are given as a name. So withdraw is, even though it is a verb, here we are just trying to term it as a functionality. Functionality is nothing but an action. Action is nothing but the verb in terms of normal English way of giving a word to that. And the participating actor is, of course, the customer. And whenever a person is going to hold an account in the bank, only he can be a customer. So I cannot put that as a normal human being or as a normal people or normal name or anything like that. So I have to name it as customer only. And then the flow of events are nothing but the customer selects the withdraw button and the system displays the withdraw scheme and initialize the input amount use case. So this is what generally happens whenever a customer is going to involved into the process of withdrawing the cash from the use cases. He needs to go for selecting withdraw button. So after giving the ATM card as an input, he has to swipe the ATM card and he has to give the proper PIN number. So these are all the things which he should have done pretty much earlier. And we are going to concern only with the process of withdrawing. We are not going to bother about the pre-processing We are trying to take into account that the pre-processing is already done. And then we are going to go for giving the input to the input related to whatever the amount that I want to withdraw from the use case. And a new thing is introduced here, as I told in the previous segment itself, a quality requirement. So when we are going for doing this particular action, we need to bother about, or we need to give a concern based upon what if the user doesn't wants to withdraw the cash from the account. He might change the mind. Okay, it is something related to the kind of interaction that is going to happen between the customer as well as the ATM machine. No human are involved in between. So we need to go for foreseeing what kind of help that we can give to the customer if he doesn't wants to do the transaction. He wants to stop the process of withdrawing the cash from the account while he has swiped in the card. So for that, we need to go for giving a cancel transaction use case. So this cancel transaction use case ensures that the user, if at all he decides that he doesn't wants to uh, take the amount from the account, he is going to stop there itself. He is going to give the cancel transaction, and the system goes back to the idle state after leaving the card out. Okay, so this is what we term it as a quality requirement. And the next one is nothing but organizing the flow of events like actions, major scenarios based upon what we are going to organize a major scenarios, a major things as a set of use case contents. So before going to the scenarios and the other topic is use cases, we shall see about the diagrams actually. So I think you got a better understanding of what use case is all about. Now we are going to see about the diagrams. So when you look out into the use case diagram, they are going to depict the model of the use cases what we have so far discussed. So pretty much telling to a user based upon what is that use case or what is the functionality or who are all the actors or what is the kind of process flow involved into that and at what point of time the user is going to interact with what kind of use case, and he is going to be the really a person who is responsible for it, or is a person who is going to get benefited out of it. Rather than telling all those things in an oral manner, if we are going to show a diagrammatic representation, that becomes pretty much simple for the user to understand. That is what the reason we are just going for creating a use case diagram. So these are the notations what is being used in use cases. Like we got a use case which is nothing but a normal process symbol. Okay, this is called as a process symbol, what we normally use in terms of our other set of diagrams yeah, data flow diagram or any other kind of diagram which is going to illustrate the functionality behavior of a particular given system. Then we got an actor, which is nothing but a stick figure. Okay, so obviously it is pretty much clear that whenever a stick figure comes into the picture, it is indicates a human. So here also it might be a human or it can be another part of the system. Okay, it may be another entity or another part of a given system. And we got two different stereotypes for a use cases: include and extend. So include is nothing but it is going to talk something related to if a particular use case has to happen or use case has to do its execution, it has to explicitly bring into concern or bring into its domain the behavior of another use case. So I am doing a process. For me to do the process, I want somebody to be included into my process. That is what include is all about. And extend is nothing but it is something like a effect of my functionality. Because of my functionality or because of particular functionality what the system is capable of performing, the other part of the system or other system might have some kind of impact. That is what we call it as extend use case. So it's a kind of behavioral impact over another system. So that we call it as a extend use case. So these are the different set of notations you can find in a use case. And these are the major components of a use case, like actors, relationship between actors and use cases, relationship among different use cases, etc. So a simple example is given for simpler understanding as the first one. We got a teacher and student as a actors involved into the use case, and we got three different set of use cases like homework submission, homework grading, and homework distribution. And keep it in mind that all these three are virtual based. It is not going to come into the offline scenario. So the teacher is a person who is going to evaluate the process, and he is the one who is going to give the homework. So These two connections are made for the teacher. That is e-homework grading and e-homework distribution. And the student is going to bother about or is going to concern with the submission of the use case and the distribution of the use case. So when a teacher is going to distribute the use case, it goes to the student. That is what the connection is made between a teacher and the student. And a student is going to submit the use case means he is alone going to submit the use case. The teacher is not going to submit the use case. That is what the reason we are giving the connection directly to the student over there. And then we got to see something related to the include and extend relationship that we shall see in the next class. Thank you.